how emotional it is to see so many of y'all that I know.
Come on, baby.
Have dealt with COVID, have dealt with a lot in the past month, just calling it out by names. My brother Lays dealt with COVID, still dealing with COVID. My brother Malik Small dealing with COVID. I'm gonna just keep going down the list. My sister Allison Farrington dealing with COVID. Smitty, Malik, so many of my family that have been dealing with this virus, man. And I'm not emotional because it happened. I'm emotional because we still here. I'm emotional because that means we still got work to do. That I'm emotional because when it's all said and done, we are beyond just a group of people that get together every Thursday. We become family. And to see how many of you have been struggling with this thing for the past several weeks, and then to see your faces here right now means the world to me. I swear to you, it means the world to me. And I'm forever thankful to God that he would give us an opportunity to get together once again. I just want you to kind of maybe spend just a few moments talking to people about what this experience was like for you, and basically what you plan to do moving forward, not only on a personal level, but also on a professional level. Sis?
Well, thank you and Happy New Year to my OSG family. And yeah, I'm the rock, but sometimes not always that strong. And COVID really did a number to me mentally, of course, physically, and emotionally. If you came out to my birthday party, you may have seen my ex-husband. He and I danced, and he's very, very sickly. He's so sick that he needs a lung transplant. And I heard my two sons talking about who was going to take care of me and who was going to take care of their dad. Because their dad lives in Queens and they have to bring him his medicine. They have to take him to get haircuts. They have to take him, and they generally just take turns doing that. They got to take him to doctor's appointments. And to listen to my two sons, who are 20 and 26, become real grown men before my eyes. And then it pained me that my children are making decisions about who to take care of versus we're just a family, because both of us are sick. So that really, really made me think, well, I did the right thing. And well, their dad and I did the right thing in raising them, but they're scared to death. They're terrified. And my kids are like me, they're bubbly, they're, vivacious, but they were terrified. And that did something for me, or to me. But with each symptom I got, I kept thinking, how much sicker am I going to get? And then what impact is this going to have on my family and my school community? And just what happens if I'm not around? How much am I responsible for? And then I had to dial back and say, the most important person you're responsible for is you. So moving forward personally, I think it's really important that I spend more time with my sons. Professionally, what it is I'm thinking about is, how do I get more people to understand how to love more? Because that's big. The love that I was surrounded by in my time of being down was so important to me. The fact that people were dropping care packages off to my step. And I had so many teachers that were sick, I was Instacarting food to them. I had my entire support staff was sick with COVID. These people make $15 an hour. You are not prepared to just shut down and not get paid. So I'm food shopping and sending it to their houses. It is so important for people to learn how to love others, because for me, there is something comforting in knowing that I do what's right because it's right, because it's simply the right thing to do.
And Farrington, that at times when it almost becomes cliche in a sense when they say love is all you need. Mary said it. And it's the truth though. You know, when money didn't mean nothing, when you couldn't do nothing with the money, you couldn't do nothing with your degrees, you could do nothing with your prestige, you could do nothing with your personality, you could do nothing with that. At the end of the day, what actually got you through was true love, you know, and that's part of what OSG represents. And so when we wonder why we go to work every day, why we push through some of the more tough scenarios that are going on, it's because we truly understand love, right? And it's easy to understand why we got to give it when we get it. So now when you get it the way you got it, you're like, yo, who am I? Who am I not to give back? Who am I not to show the real love? You know what I'm saying? And it's not just, again, another shameless plug, and just understanding why Ox book is focused, is to focus on the love. Like, that's so real right now in a world, right? It was real last year, but the relevancy this year is greater than it's ever been. And so understanding why what we do is important is because now we transfer that same love to them kids that you see every day. And so you walking back in that building today gave you a whole nother level of love. No one could ever say that you didn't love your kids anyway. Everybody knew how much you loved your kids. But what happened? What truly happened when you walked back in here this time and saw them? What was that feeling like for you as a principal now, who now have to give back love that you received during this tough time?
So my office literally is this hallway, right? Power and I are sitting out here. Everybody that knows me knows I'm in the middle of the hallway. So I went out before Christmas break. When I came back in here on Monday, the kids were so happy to see me. But we also have this app called Kimball, right? So I can text the kids, they can text me. They don't get my phone number, but they're in constant contact with me. After day 2 of me not being here, the kids started texting me. Miss F, you okay? You got it too? What you need us to do? Yo, I just need you to hold research down for me. When I came back in here on Monday, the love that they showed me, man, everybody had their mask up. They're not telling us COVID is real. We get it now, Miss F. We love you. We love you. We love you. So because of all of the love that they showed me, I brought back one of the research traditions, which is literally me and my 2 APs cooking breakfast every Friday morning. So tomorrow morning, I'll be in here at 6 o'clock in the morning, literally cooking breakfast for every student and every staff member. Because food for us is a way in which to commune and show love. And when I watch my young people on the plates and say, good morning, can you please pass the syrup? Or man, please have this cup of juice. The fact that they know we were here early in the morning, whether it snows or not, cooking for them so that we can have a communal breakfast together, prepared by my hands with my love, that's extremely important to me.
Happy New Year's, OSG. I love you. I miss you. And keep on being a family, keep on supporting each other, keep on lifting each other, keep on taking care of each other, because that is part of this calling. And just for the record, I never figured out whether I had COVID because I was too sick to go get tested. That's it. I literally, I was sitting on my couch. It was last Tuesday. I had a great day. I took my car in for service. Everything was all good. I'm chilling. I'm watching TV. And I went from good to really, really bad in a matter of moments. And I knew something was wrong. And so my wife had called me from upstairs for something. I'm like, Dave, I'm not feeling good. And so I went to my bag because I knew exactly where my thermometer was at. I popped my thermometer in my mouth and it was reading over 100 degrees. And I'm like, nah, something wrong with this. Maybe I don't know how to use a thermometer. So I was like, let me shake it. Let me press a button. Let me put it back in my mouth, try it out again. And it kept reading over 100. And I'm like, man, there's something wrong. And the decline just came so quickly. And I already knew that my dean and his entire family was out with COVID. Smitty was out with COVID. My entire, like Clarendon said, my main team all went down all at the same time. And so I don't, knock on wood, I haven't even had as much of as a cold in years. I can't even tell you my last sniffle because I'm pretty healthy. So I just couldn't figure it out, but the decline came so fast, so hard. And I was in bed feverish for the first 2 days, and me thinking that I'm a Superman, I got up the third day and was like, yo, I feel great. And I started moving around, doing stuff, and I got knocked back down just as quickly as I had gotten back up, and I was back 100 degrees plus. So I'm in bed another couple of days. And so I knew that work was coming up. I knew we had to be in work on Monday. You know, my wife's pleading with me like damn near in tears, like, bro, you can't go to work. I'm like, I gotta go to work. Like, who's gonna run the school? I called up my AP that Sunday night, and when I heard her voice, she was so sick. I didn't even tell her I was sick because I'm like, well, if she's sick, I can't call out. Like, I got a school to run. So I went to work Monday, made it through. But when I got home Monday, what Dennis is talking about, like, I don't know what happened. I went to such a dark place. I literally couldn't function. I couldn't think. I couldn't talk to nobody. It was just a dark place, you know, because when you're used to being strong for everybody, and when you don't share with people, when you're down, people ain't checking for you because people are used to you being a man, used to you being strong, used to you not having a call. And so I felt a way about that. I'm like, well, people call when they need stuff. I ain't got no calls coming in. I'm down and out. And it just took me to such a dark place. You know, but luckily, you know, I'm a strong Black man, and I got mental resiliency and spiritual resiliency, and I was able to come up out of that place. History is always our teacher, and so if you again look at history, this isn't the first pandemic we've been in, and if you look similarly in history at those different occurrences, you'll see that the world did come through, and we too will come through. But again, the world will never be, at least the modern world will never go back to what it was.
What I want you guys to really reflect upon is you can be replaced. Oftentimes we feel like no one can replace us in our schools. No one can replace us in our families. And I know you're thinking, sis, you're bugging, but you can be replaced. Your spouse can marry another person. Your school can hire another principal. You may not be replicated, but you can be replaced. And I learned that the very hard way on December 19th. I woke up on December 18th with a really bad migraine, debilitating migraine. By Sunday, the whole right side of my body was tingling. My healthcare provider insisted that I go to the emergency room because she thought I was having a stroke. And because she knows me so well and my strong will and my independence, she called right back and said, and don't drive yourself, which is exactly what I was going to do. And so I went and spent 6.5 hours in the emergency room. Thank God I was not having a stroke, but 6.5 hours is a very long time to reflect. And it made me realize that, you know what, if you don't walk out of this hospital today, life will go on. So what are you going to do to ensure that you do everything that you can to ensure that you're here for a very long time? And so kind of using the tagline of my beautiful sister, Captain Kirk, I have to lead with balance. I have to lead my school with balance. And I also have to lead my family with balance.
Yo, Smitty, tell us about that experience with you and COVID, man, because we got to think more about where we have to be physically so that we can be more to each other in all other aspects.
Yeah, thanks, D. Happy New Year, everyone. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, I like to joke, you know, I'm Jamaican, I don't get sick, you know, so even the first round of COVID, you know, I skipped through all of that. And they're like, you got tested, you got vaccinated? No, I'm Jamaican, I'm good. But this time, you know, Marion snuck up around my defense systems, like, you know, caught me out the blue. It was crazy, you know. It was 2 weeks ago and it was a Saturday. Started in the morning and I was feeling a little lethargic, but I was like, you know, maybe it's a cold or whatever, because I'm usually just a hoodie. hanging out in the yard with the kids. And as the day wore on, I started to feel a little bit more. And, Sunday, that, the chills, the headaches, the body aches,
Oh,
ridiculous. Ladies, you already know you're going through it right now. So, and then by Monday, Tuesday, it was just like, I thought it was a flu, but my body was just like, nah, we're not doing this, not at all. I literally had to force myself to not going to work. A lot of times when I say I'm gonna take a day off, I don't take the day off because something about it just I used to feel guilty. But the past 2 weeks, I will say it gave me time to reflect and just think about life, think about where I'm at in life at this moment and everything I've been doing up until this moment. I really didn't have that time before to process a lot of things. And I realized that, I had a hard time getting around the word selfish, thinking about me, it always felt selfish to me, like it was a bad thing. And, I was chopping it up with Dennis not too long ago and I shared that with him. And, it's you have to think about yourself in that terms and about your family and the people around you. So it was a trying time, thank God I made it through. Shout out to everybody that reached out and everyone that was affected during that time. Glad, like Dennis said before, we're still here and I'm happy for that. And just, I think the message that I'm hearing throughout since we got on is about, just loving and loving more and learning to love and just, take care of yourself however you can. Take care of your family.
Dr. Riley, talk to us, girl. Tell us how you feeling. Tell us how this all came about.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So yeah, I am part of that population that contracted COVID twice. Go figure. But like I shared with you all previously, when I first contracted COVID, the first go round, I shared with you how scary it was and the symptoms and how I believe that, as you heard somebody say, oh, this how it's gonna happen. I was like, no, we're not doing this. And God had an angel in my pathway for the first time around. And I know it was an angel because it was from someone who I would have least expected, that wasn't even aware, but called me and asked me, was I going through something? That was the first time. And as you all know, I got through that first episode. I mean, it was a long road to recovery, about a good 7-8 month recovery from the very first time that I contracted COVID. And those of you who may know me, I wasn't going to take the vaccination because I didn't believe in it. But my doctor sat me down. Black woman sat me down, looked at my face and said, you know what COVID can do to your body. You need to take the vaccination because you need to have extra defense mechanisms in your bloodstream to assist you. She didn't have to say anything else to me. And that's why I took the vaccination. And that's why I advocated for a lot of you, especially you, Lioness, to stay home and, on the accommodation last year. But however, moving forward, this Sunday, Sunday, I was fine. Just sounds like the Smitty. That night I had a little cold. That morning I woke up extremely congested. But like we do, we go to work, right? And while I'm at work, my staff are like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. And then as I was driving home is when I realized that I needed to go to urgent care because I felt like I was going to pass out because I couldn't breathe as I was driving. So I went to urgent care and the same symptoms that Smitty described. My throat felt like it was closed. My chest felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. Once again, my lungs were on fire. And when they thought I was having, something cardio. They thought there was blood clot in my lungs because of all of the symptoms that I was having. So the urgent care sent me directly to the emergency room. and they thought I was going through the same things that the urgent care had diagnosed. And I was all hooked up to EKGs and all of this stuff. And I was just like, well, what's going on? All of my vitals came back fine. Doctors came back and was like, you were COVID positive, which, the urgent care said that too, but they needed one more test to come back to make sure that they didn't have to admit me. And I'm saying that to say that after that, they didn't have to admit me, thank God. But I'm saying, this is a divine connection here at OSG. So when if ever one of us come to your mind, guys, I strongly suggest that you pray. You may not know why we're coming to your mind. You may not know why you feel strongly. Just stop and just say, God bless them, whatever it is that would come into your mind. Because 2 instances where I know that I was at the point of being like, all right, is God had 2 people that heeded the call to respond and to pray for me. So I want to thank God for that, and thankful to the people that responded to the call. But I just want to say, just to highlight what Dennis said, that if you care about your school, and this is something that I shared when I talked about being assistant principal, if you care about your school, you must train your replacement. You must, because those babies depend on great leadership, great structures, great systems.
You may not be replicated, you can be replaced. Mother Love said that, Constance. That's powerful. It landed on my soul. And really something I think we should all reflect on. I mentioned this, and I was talking to Jamila a few weeks ago, and she said to me, when I said, many of you are training your APs to be soldiers and not leaders. And so, to Action's point, it is your responsibility as a leader to cultivate leadership and making sure that when you are unable, there are several people who can step up and lead in your building. I've been in a school all week because the principal has COVID. There is no AP. And just seeing how her team has really stepped up to stand in the gap for her and do what they're called to do, it is necessary. And so as leaders, we're called to, while we take care of ourselves first, sometimes we have to put ourselves on the front line. And so, of course, I'm in a school because this is what's needed for kids to be all right. No matter what I think about what we should be doing, this is what I'm called to do. And so I think it's so important. Sometimes I'm driving and I'm reflecting on OSG and this pandemic and what we've all been through and what we're still going through. And I tear up because OSG is a walking, living miracle. It is nothing but God's grace. And we are, our dreams are our responsibility. And when we don't put them into action, we are moving against God's will for us because they're always connected and tied to the dreams of other people, which thus makes us dream builders. And so, Dennis, you are a dream builder. Denise is a dream builder, and all of us here. And so OSG is a miracle.